So not too familiar. The funny thing is actually we know the admissions person for Charles Sturt, so we think that that's actually an excellent school too. So I do know when our friends were up in James Cook, where it's hotter. Honestly, I can't really comment on that. I do think that you're going to have problems, getting out and getting involved no matter where you are, whether you go to University of Toronto, whether you go to, St. FX, a smaller school, whether you go to UQ, whether you go to the smaller schools, you'll always, your kid has to get out there. So one thing that actually worked well for us is our kid, as your kids will do, are going to start in February. So our kid went and saw how their friends were, like Nick went and saw how his friends were doing socializing in September. And some of them had a hard time. And I'm going to say honestly, like Peterborough was only small up north from us. And the bigger ones, Western, we had a lot of his friends who really, it's such a big school, or they just didn't do well. And that's even in Ontario. And Nick went and he was actually trying to help them, be the friend and get them out and try to be that social group. And so I think that was actually really good for him to sort of see and go to orientation weeks with all his other friends and sort of experience that. I remember him saying to me before he left, he said, "Mom, I don't want you to be upset because I just want you to know I'm not going to be crying. I'm not going to be worried. So just don't be worried that I'm not crying." So that kind of made me feel better.
But I think also if like for our son, or if you this question here, the person going to a rural school for dentistry, once you're in a professional program, you're always around that group of students. So I think as long as you're going to go do the extracurriculars and where they're studying, and you always at least you know those people. It's not like going to U of T in arts and science where there's like 20,000 people, right? So I think because there's just more faculties, it should be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to kind of add to that, it really depends on what your lifestyle is like. I actually just did a veterinary webinar last week with someone who is in a more rural area, one of the veterinary campuses, and she absolutely loved it. It was right up her vibe. She grew up on a farm. It was what she was used to. She knew that she would not thrive in somewhere like downtown Sydney or anything like that. So it really just depends on your personality and your lifestyle. Program as well is really important. And as James said too, with these professional programs, you do have quite a tight knit cohort. So you are, doing study groups. You get to know them very quickly. There's lots of Canadians as well, so you'll meet lots of people from Canada. So it really just is about what your preferences are and where you thrive essentially. So and in terms of kind of getting around and locations, some of our students will get cars in the upper years, and a lot of our students in the professional programs like medicine and dentistry, they are going to different places for their placements as well. So many of our students go to international places. They come back to Canada to do placements or for rotations. I know in a couple of our medical programs, they go to other international places. So, for example, Macquarie University in third year, they head over to India for a clinical rotation. So there's lots to do with that. You do create a community quite quickly, and definitely immerse yourself in it. Go to the orientations, go to the meet and greets, go to all of the welcome week events. Kind of throw yourself into it at the beginning, and you'll find a core group relatively quickly.